Hey, this is Mary from Analytics, and today we're going to talk about one of the questions that we often get, which is how long will the FDA take to review my 510(k) submission? That is a really hard question to answer because although technically the FDA does have a 90-day review clock, the time that it actually takes from the moment that you submit your 510(k) submission to the moment that you receive the decision letter, that time will really be determined by how long the holds in between take and other factors that may not be accounted for in this 90-day review clock. In the perfect world, the 90-day review timeline would go as follows. On day 1, FDA receives your 510(k). By day 7, the FDA should acknowledge that they received your 510(k). Now, please note that with the eStart, this can actually happen much faster. We've actually seen the FDA acknowledge receipt of a 510(k) the very same day that we submitted. By day 15, FDA will go through a refuse to accept or RTA checklist to ensure that all the items that are expected to be included within your submission have in fact been submitted. Please note that with the eStart, any missing items should actually be easier to identify, as the eStart will actually mark as incomplete any items that it's missing and that it thinks that you should be submitting based on your device. If your submission passes RTA, you now enter the substantive review phase, and the review clock keeps ticking. However, if your submission has any deficiencies, which are typically administrative, the FDA will give you a deficiency letter that lists all the deficiencies in your submission. At this point, your submission would be placed on an RTA hold, which would then pause the review clock and you would get 180 days to respond. So after the RTA phase comes the substantive review phase, which should happen by day 60 of the review clock. Most of the time, the FDA will request additional information and they will put you on a hold. This is called an AI hold. The FDA gives you another 180 days to respond to an AI hold, and the review clock is on pause. Once you respond to the AI request, your submission would now enter the interactive review phase. This would typically happen somewhere in between day 60 and day 90 of FDA's review clock. As the name suggests, this is a more interactive conversation where we typically need to address the last finishing touches of the submission before we receive a decision letter. Please remember that at this point, the submission is not on hold, which means that the clock is not on pause, so it keeps running. So time is definitely of the essence when it comes to responding or addressing any remaining items. By day 90, FDA sends their final decision letter, which we of course strive always to be a substantial equivalence letter. Now, as you see, FDA's review clock is around 90 days, but with a possible 180-day holds in between, most of the review periods for traditional 510(k)s are actually around 6 to 7 months. So yeah, I hope this brought some clarity as far as how long it could take for your submission to be reviewed. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.